everybody. Welcome into Lobo Rewind, a unique event for you, the 2007 New Mexico Bowl rebroadcast. I'm Robert Portnoy, the voice of the Lobos, and very shortly we'll welcome in two very special Lobos. Head football coach Danny Gonzalez, defensive coordinator and linebackers coach Rocky Long. They were both part of the staff of that 2007 Lobo football team that took down Nevada in the New Mexico Bowl at what is now called Dream Style Stadium. Of course, Rocky Long was the head coach then, and Danny Gonzalez was the special teams coach. They're going to take you through the entire rebroadcast, all of their observations. It should be fun. We want you to interact with us, get your questions to us for Coaches Gonzalez and Long, and we'll get them to those coaches on the air. Here we go, the 2007 New Mexico Bowl. A Lobo 23-0 win over Nevada on Lobo Rewind.
They are the Nevada Wolfpack, the innovators of the pistol offense and one of the most dynamic attacks in the nation, led by WAC Freshman of the Year Colin Kaepernick. New Mexico, led by head coach Rocky Long, has always prided itself on the defense. Today, whose will win? Heavy snowfall yesterday has blown through, and today a crystal clear 34-degree December afternoon in the land of enchantment. And we are ready for the third meeting ever between the Lobos of New Mexico and the Wolfpack of Nevada. It is the second annual New Mexico Bowl at University Stadium here in Albuquerque, and it's Mountain West against Western Athletic Conference as Nevada takes on the Lobos of New Mexico. And they today tried to break a bowl victory drought going back 46 years. No one plays closer bowl games than Nevada. All five they've played as a Division 1A program, decided by 3 or fewer points. Kickoff, the second New Mexico Bowl. Coach
Gonzalez, Danny Gonzalez with us as well. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's fun to be around some football, and so especially some Lobo football. It'll be great.
What do you guys remember leading up to kickoff?
I remember the day before was miserable. It was a Friday that was snowy, windy. I mean, they had to cancel the pep rally, and then what a beautiful day it turned out to be. I think it was only 34 degrees, but beautiful day.
I just remember how nice it was. We played well on both offense and defense, and I'm looking forward to watching how well we played, because I remember it as a kind of a dominating experience for our team against theirs.
Yeah, 23-0 is pretty dominant, and things got started pretty quickly for you offensively, didn't they?
Yeah, we're gonna score pretty quick. I think we score on the third play here. I mean, it'll be fun to remember some of this stuff. I mean, I know we got on top of them early. I thought we were going to run them out the building. We didn't. I mean, 23-0 is a pretty dominating win, but it could have been a lot worse than that.
That was a heck of an offensive line, wasn't it, guys? They just showed those guys. The boys up front did a tremendous job this whole year.
They really did. I mean, this was Coach Linsmeyer's first year coaching the offensive line, too. A young Coach Linsmeyer. We'll see him here in a little while, but he did a great job with this group.
I talked with Lenz yesterday, and he said, yeah, my hair was on top of my head then. Now it's on my face.
Well, I'll tell you what, these guys were big. He coached them well. Now, they were big, strong, and kind of mean guys. I looked up the roster, and the starters right there, you know, a couple of them are from Albuquerque, but they averaged over 6'4" and averaged over 315 pounds. So not only were they big, they played well this day.
So 3rd and 5 play coming up here, and this is going to be electricity here in just a minute.
Anchoring the D-line is the dump truck. Nose guard Matt Hines.
What a great crowd this day, too. I mean, there was over 30,000 in the stadium. I mean, second New Mexico Bowl. And the New Mexico Bowl is a great event. I mean, it's been awesome.
This was the second New Mexico Bowl.
Go Pack.
And the Lobos with a 3rd down and 6. Portery well protected, complete over the middle. Marcus Smith will not be caught.
Reggie Bush's high school, Helix High School in San Diego, California.
Both our receivers were outstanding players, and I think they both made all-conference that year. They couldn't match up against them, I know that. They have big plays throughout the game.
Marcus Smith and Travis Brown, both first-team All-Mountain West selections that year, and Smith had one of the best seasons in the history of the program. In fact, as far as receptions are concerned, he needed 3 going into this game. He ended up with 5 catches and he ended up with 86 for the year, and that set the all-time single-season catch record.
Both of them had over 1,000 yards on the season.
First team.
You don't have that happen too much where you have two receivers over 1,000 yards and a running back over 1,000 yards on the same offense. You don't have that very often.
Brown would go over 1,000 yards receiving for the season in this game. And Coach Long, if you add in the 3,006 passing yards for Donovan Portery, it's something that had never happened for the Lobos. A 3,000-yard passer, 2,000-yard receivers, and a 1,000-yard rusher. That's incredible.
That's awesome.
That shows you the kind of talent we had on that team. Thank goodness we didn't mess them up.
Shows you how good them boys up front were. I mean, to be able to pass protect for Donovan so that he could throw it to these guys and then block for Rod. Now, Rodney can make some people miss. He could run over some people too. But I mean, that's pretty good up front. If you don't have them up front, you're not going to be any good.
This offensive backfield didn't have the game-breaking speed that some of the other teams that you had, Coach Long, in terms of a Dontrell Moore, for example. But boy, Ferguson, Coach Gonzalez just mentioned that he was kind of a bulldozer.
Well, he was one of those guys that pounded the rock, but he made a guy or two miss every once in a while. He ran over a whole bunch of guys, and you know that was kind of our theme, that we were very physical up front with the offensive line we had, and we could control the ball by running it. And so if you put enough guys in the box to slow the run down, then we had two great receivers on the outside that could burn them at any moment.
Jordan Scott has it teed up for New Mexico, 8-4, tied for third in the Mountain West, 5-3 this year.
So you're facing an offense, Nevada ranked 5th in the country for total offense in yards per game. What was the game plan going in, trying to shut down an offense led by a redshirt freshman quarterback named Colin Kaepernick?
Everybody uses that name, right? Because that's name recognition, because he was such a great NFL player and a great college player. But he was a freshman in this game. Now he had a great year, obviously, because he was the freshman of the year in their league at that time. Going into the game, we knew we had to stop the run because he was a threat running the ball as well as throwing it. So we went into the game trying to stop the run.
Joining him in the pistol is all-WAC running back Luke.
Kind of the beginning of the pistol offense. I think they introduced it in 2004, but they were kind of hit and miss. This season, every snap seemed like it was in the pistol, and they had a good running back in Luke Lippincott that he was hard to tackle.
All right, from the 25-yard line, the Wolfpack in this pistol.
Fun to watch the boys in red, though. They're playing hard.
Variation off
This
the
group
shotgun.
got after it pretty good.
Rolling, throwing on the run, Kaepernick, and he actually hits a Lobo defender, Blake Lagon. The left safety.
Haven't heard that name in a long time.
Now,
It's interesting when we previewed a little of this earlier, how many guys would play on defense. I bet you there's 22 guys that play a lot. And if I remember right, at this time we were letting some of the guys alternate themselves. And just like that front defensive line, they were all quick and fast, and they weren't necessarily big, but they made a lot of plays in the backfield. And then the linebacker crew was really, really good. And I think the secondary was probably the best part of the defense. I thought we had two NFL guys at corner. We had some safeties that would come up and lay a lick on you and cause fumbles.
So the players were actually checking themselves in and out of the game?
Yeah. We give them a rotation. You know, you're in for 3, you're out for 3, and they rotate and substitute for themselves. That just shows you the kind of depth we had on this team.
They'd be eager to get into you. Give them a 6-3 play count. One guy played for 6, another for 3. They cheat each other on reps. They'd run out there before it was their turn, and they were smart enough knowing not to get penalties, or we'd take that out. They'd take that away from them. So it was funny to listen to them banter about it.
That's great.
There's a big third down stop. Albuquerque kid, Ian Clark.
Yeah, Ian Clark.
Highland High School.
We did the count, didn't we, Coach G? 37 New Mexico kids
awesome.
On this roster.
Yes.
37. After we talked about that number, I had to break it down. I couldn't believe it. You mentioned Highland. There were 3 Highland kids, 8 La Cueva kids, 5 Manzano kids, 2 from Sandia, 2 from Rio Grande, Albuquerque High, Cibola High, St. Pius. Those are just the Albuquerque kids, and then you had players from Taos and Rio Rancho and Gallup and Santa Fe and Los Lunas and Kirtland and Portales and Las Cruces and Carlsbad. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really neat. I mean, I didn't realize that. I knew we had a lot of New Mexico kids on the team, but I didn't realize that until we started looking at the roster, because I think that they were the key to our team and our program. I mean, because it meant a lot to them. And I think the group that we brought in from outside of the state fell right into line, and these guys really wanted to win bad, and they made our program a good program.
New Mexico. And for Nevada, Marco Mitchell, he's a guy that's going to have to get something done for that offense if New Mexico is successful in holding the pistol down.
We look like a spread offense.
Averages
Look at it, empty.
incredible 22 yards per catch. Portery with
This was an interesting deal when we
in the area.
I thought that our offensive coaches did a great job with this game plan. Obviously, Rodney wasn't playing in this game for reasons, and so we were playing a new running back that hadn't played very much. And so I think we spread it out because we knew how good Donovan Portery was, and we knew how good our receivers were. So we spread it out and put the heat on Nevada in this game. Nevada probably came into this game thinking we were going to pound it. Well, we pounded a little bit because Paul has, I think, 160 yards in this game. But really, the explosiveness of our receivers and the way Donovan played made a huge difference.
There's Paul Baker. He went for 167 on the ground, actually 200 plus all-purpose yards. You throw in over 40 receiving yards as well. He had a heck of a game, Coach Long.
Well, he did. He really stepped up. Whenever you lose a good player, that means the next guy has to step up and play well. And he played really, really well. I don't remember. He might have got the player of the game, the offensive player of the game. But if you played the run too much, you had guys like those guys catching the ball and scoring touchdowns. So I thought the offensive staff did a great job with the game plan here, put a lot of heat on their defense, and, you know, obviously had a lot to do with our success.
Best thing about those guys, in my opinion, you watch them, you watch this game, they block their tails off for Paul. I mean, the receivers did a great job, and they weren't selfish. I think our receivers coach at the time was Matt Wells, the head coach of Texas Tech now. He did a great job with that group. It was they're fun to watch. They'll show some highlights here of them blocking too. It's great.
That referee right there is Greg Brooks. He's actually the head of the Mountain West Conference referees at this time. He's not on the field anymore, but he has a lot to do with how well the referees do in our league.
Hey, I want to let the fans know who are watching to make sure to check the comments section on Facebook Live. One of the all-time greats from this team, Glover Quinn, is watching the game right now. He's
Awesome.
checked in on
All
Facebook
right.
Live. He has said hello to Lobo fans, so you can interact with Glover Quinn on Facebook Live right now.
Glover was a great player for us, and he had an outstanding NFL career too. And I tell you what, he made us proud the way he played in the NFL. He made us proud the way he played for us.
A fan wants to know about the hashtag Win5, Coach G. What does it mean?
Win 5, okay? That you're going to see that a lot. That's the #1 goal in our program right now. In the history, the 132-year history of our football program, we've won 4 conference championships, the last one being back in 1964. Now, we did share our division title twice, once in '97 and once in 2016, but an outright conference championship has not been won around here since 1964. So the hashtag Win5 is we're putting our goal out there to win our 5th conference championship. When we were here before, previously with Coach Long and stuff, we finished second 4 times. And we had numerous times, I mean, we lost to UNLV in 2003, 37-35, where we turned the ball over 8 times, or we win the conference championship. We lose to Colorado State late. I mean, it was inches away from winning a conference championship. So that's what the hashtag Win5 is. Let's go find the 5th one.
That question came from Caitlin. Thank you so much, Caitlin. We have a check-in from Greg Archuleta. There's a former Lobo football beat writer and, of course, a New Mexico sports information director as well. He wants to know, guys, if you thought your defense could dominate that offense the way that it did.
Well, I don't think going in the game, I think we were nervous. I think they were averaging almost 500 yards a game. They were averaging right around 36 or 37 points a game. They had great athlete at quarterback. I think we went into the game nervous. Now, I'll say this about our guys. Our guys were never scared. They never backed down. And I think our guys were ready to play. And obviously they played extremely well. We had some talented guys, but you have to be ready to play. And what they did to this offense is, in my opinion, something really special.
A young man who started out his career at Wake Forest and had that horrible injury, tore up his shoulder, broke it, screws, and
one of the worst throwing arm injuries medical people in football have ever seen.
Donovan Porter
Yeah, he
had
managed
one
to
heck of a
get it
season, didn't he,
together,
guys?
get over
And
to Cincinnati and
from what you're saying,
ran
Coach
that
Long,
spread
in terms of
attack.
game planning
Great year with
for this contest, you guys put a lot on his shoulders in this game, and he really delivered.
10, New Mexico.
Well, obviously, now, you know, I didn't remember until we watched this earlier that we spread out as much. I mean, that looks like a modern offense.
It sure does.
I mean, we got 4 wide receivers out there, and Donovan's dropping back and getting great protection and throwing the ball around. That's not necessarily what our personality was. Our personality was to get in the I formation and let our offensive line beat you up and let the running backs take their day, you know. But obviously, with the situation at running back and our offensive line being what they were and having great receivers, I thought the offensive staff did a nice job, but the players did a great job executing.
Who was directly in front of Brown and didn't want to throw the ball towards him.
So Jordan Scott will punt for the first time. Tops in the Mountain West in net punting and 12th nationally. 38
12th
net
nationally in
yards.
net punting.
This is one of his specialties, making sure that the Wolfpack will start as close to their end as possible, and it's dead at the
Play some pretty good
10-yard
defense if they have to
line.
go 90 yards every time.
Unreturnable. Timeout, 9:52 in the first quarter. 7-0, New Mexico in the New Mexico Bowl.
Clint McPeak, another local high school kid from La Cueva.
Speaking of New Mexican
Ooh,
food,
that was
a
good.
fusion
Green
of
chili.
Yeah.
Native American, Mexican, and Spanish ingredients and techniques.
Anybody hungry?
The New Mexico State Fruit.
Well, not right now, but that looked pretty good. And I remember the day was beautiful. I mean, it was a little chilly, but the day was beautiful. And look at the good crowd we had. I don't know exactly how many, but both sides were filled. I know that. And most of them were for us, and that's really nice.
That's right.
Pistachio nuts.
Yeah, it was over 30,000, as Danny mentioned when we started, and 34 degrees at game time. We're going to jump ahead here a little bit, a Nevada possession that ends in a punt. And then those are always key moments in football games. You can see that the Lobo possession ends in a fumble, and you give Nevada a short field, as high octane as that offense is. Now, we've talked about how great their offense was going into this game, but your defense, 13th nationally in total defense at just over 319 yards allowed per game. Tied 14th scoring defense at 19 points per game. So it's time for them to step up here with the short field after the fumble.
You can always tell what kind of character you have on a team by the way they handle adversity. And obviously when somebody fumbles the ball and gives the other team a short field, so to speak, you can go in with the right attitude that you're going to make them stop them and try to cause a turnover to get the ball back, or keep them, hold them to a field goal, or you can give in and just give them a touchdown. Now, this group of guys wasn't like that. Obviously, during the season, we won some big-time close football games. I can remember beating Arizona at Arizona. We had a couple league games that came right down to the wire. So our whole team showed great character this whole season.
And after the long count, Kaepernick heaving deep.
Ooh, got lucky here.
Yeah, got lucky there.
Sorry, got pressure though. Got pressure. I mean, so our current guys are Tiger Flex Tornado Auto right there.
A good 5 yards.
Watch some fun
We
stuff. I
talked
mean,
about, where's Waldo?
it may look a little different, but we do a lot of the same things we've done for a long time.
He plays that third safety.
That was Tyler Donaldson right there. He was a first-team all-conference player. I think both of our defensive ends made all-conference that year.
Last time, he came off the edge that time.
Coach Long, you said that it didn't feel so cold for you down on the field. Glover Quinn checks in on Facebook Live and said, "No, Coach, it was freezing."
Yeah, that's what happens when you come from the South. You know, you don't know how to get used to that cold weather.
So 3rd and long from the 50. And Kaepernick.
You know, this season we played Air Force on a Thursday night in Albuquerque. Glover will remember this because we had practiced our game plan all week and decided, I mean, we were playing a triple option team. You got to be sound, and we decided the morning of we weren't giving our boys a chance, so we brought them in early on game day, and we went back over to the stadium and put in some new stuff. And shoot, I think we caused 5 turnovers that night. I think Clover was in charge of 3 of them, and that was the difference in that game. It was awesome.
John Sullivan, your consensus All-American kicker, the first consensus All-American Lobo since Urlacher in '99, just checked in on Facebook Live, guys, and he says, "Hello, everybody."
What's up, Sully?
Well, it's good to have Sully on here because he's going to kick a 53-yard field goal here later on. But in fact, I talked to him after we previewed this. I talked to him because he got a couple blocked. We talked about how mean he thought we were to him when the season started because he missed a couple in the very first game, but he didn't miss many, and as the season went along, he made some crucial field goals near the end of the games that won several games for us. So it's great to have him watching. He just missed himself kicking off and kicking the first field goal, though.
He'd already given up on it.
What was it, 28 in a row, Robert? Is that the
So-
Lobo record, or 26?
So he had a streak where he made 27 of 28 in this season, Coach G. It started, he made the final kick against UTEP in the opener. He went 2 of 4 that day. He only missed one more regular season kick. It came against Air Force, a really big comeback win for you guys in the middle of that season. He hit 18 in a row at one point, then he had the miss, then he made 9 more in a row. At the time, the 18th straight, a New Mexico record, 27 of 28, spanning the second game of the year to the 13th game of the year, that being this one in New Mexico. That's just incredible.
That's awesome.
That's why he made All-American, and he deserved it.
Led the nation in field goals with 29 and percentage, 83. He made his first 11 from 40 yards plus, guys. That's huge.
All that with a torn ACL too in his plant leg. That's what's the most amazing. I mean, tore it in spring ball, trying to tackle Marcus Smith on a kickoff, trying to prove how tough he was. But him and Bob Waller, who's our current athletic trainer, did a great job rehabbing all summer and building the muscles in that leg and allowing him to do what he did his senior year is awesome.
Yeah, the commentators in this are talking about his injury too, and they said we shouldn't have made him do tackling drills and that kind of thing. Sully, you had to do tackling drills, so the rest of the boys respected you.
So we have a check-in here from a Jay Page, and he says that he was in Iraq when he got the news that the Lobos won, and he says it was one of the best days he can remember while he was stationed over there.
That's awesome. Thank you for your service and being stationed over there and doing what you do for us. And it was a great day. And Lobos celebrated all over the world. That's awesome.
There was an opportunity for a really intriguing match.
Roger checks in, wants to know, does seeing this great crowd of over 30,000 get you excited, Coach G, about what the future of the Lobo program could be?
It does. I mean, I'm disappointed with what's going on right now. We weren't able to have a spring game. But we're doing the right things to keep everybody safe so we can all get through this together. I can't wait to get to the football season and with Paul Baker on a nice little screen right there. Get to the football season and fill up Dream Style Stadium again. I mean, if you look at this season, I think the first 3 or 4 games we played in front of over 40,000, both on the road and at home. That's awesome. You know, that's outstanding. Can't wait to get those back out in Dream Style Stadium.
Now, I remember when we sat down together earlier this week to preview the game and watch this broadcast, that both of you mentioned how much you like these helmets and this logo. Chuck checks in and wants to know, Coach G, if we might go back to the silver helmets.
Oh, it's coming back. They are coming. You'll look. Our football team will look a lot like this. Obviously, the uniform will be a little bit more updated to the latest Nike brand and stuff. But that helmet and that logo, you'll see a lot of that. I'm big on the Lobo head. I mean, that's even when I was a player. I mean, for a long time. Now we'll have a couple alternate helmets. I think that's good for recruiting and our kids. I mean, they like that stuff. But what you see right there, that's a beautiful helmet right there.
Great defensively, but maybe not as explosive offensively as a lot of people think.
Oh,
We've got another check-in on Facebook Live. You guys will know Madison Bauman. And then Madison Warren, when she was an undergrad, she was on the cheer squad and on the sidelines cheering with the Spirit program for this game. She recalls also that it was extremely cold.
Well, and they weren't. They're not dressed as warm as some of these football players. So give them a lot of credit. Madison, I mean, you were tougher than some of our guys. I promise you that.
Maddie's now the executive director of the UNM Alumni Letterman's Association, puts on their great Hall of Honor banquet every year, and she's a Spirit coach now, coaching up the teams that she used to be a part of for 5 years.
And does a great job at both jobs. I mean, cheerleading, I talk about all the time, cheerleading and gymnastics, that's a lot more dangerous than football. They throw them girls up and they catch them and drop them and all that stuff, and they're a lot tougher than we are, and I appreciate that.
So Michael checks in on Facebook Live, guys, and he says, I remember that my wife and I started to leave in the middle of the fourth because it was so freezing, but in the end we decided to stay and celebrate the win with all the other great Lobo fans that were there.
That's awesome.
I'm glad they did. It was a lot of fun after this game. See, I don't remember. It must be because we played so well. I don't remember it being that
I
cold.
don't either. And they dump water on you, so I don't remember it being that cold. Now, it wasn't cold up in the press box where I was. It was nice heated, and we had our hot chocolate and all that stuff, but it's funny how people remember things. A lot of people remember it being cold. There's Coach Baldwin, our offensive coordinator.
There's Vince Natale, too. It's interesting off this team. I counted, and I'm probably wrong. I think there's 8 guys off this team, maybe more, that are coaching now.
That's awesome.
Some of them in college, some of them in high school, but they're out there coaching football right now in several different states. And a couple of them have moved around a little bit, but I counted 8 of them that are football coaches now, and that makes you feel good.
How about that win over Arizona as
awesome.
part of this 2007 season, right? And just and you guys had some great wins, obviously, over the course of the entire year, but it had been a long time since you've beaten Arizona and won a game against a Pac-12, then Pac-10 opponent.
It was in Arizona, too. That even makes it better. So I think we had a lot of big-time wins. It's hard to tell which one was the most fun because they're always a lot of fun, but there we go scoring again because we got a good quarterback, great protection, and really good receivers.
Travis Brown, one of the coaches you talked about, he's the head high school football coach in California.
To Nevada, Smith and Brown each have gone deep for 6.
And Brown ran a beautiful route, and he split a couple
Great
of
protection
defensive
right there,
backs.
too.
He had Amaya out there and Anyan
Matt
Wayu,
Quillen,
and he
another
just
LaQuava High School
bent them
graduate.
both right out of their shoes with a cut to the post. Whoa.
The top 2 pass catchers in the Mountain West. Brown has his 6th touchdown of the
Michael
year.
Scarlett,
First
Sandia
team
High School.
all-conference, one of that group of 8.
Yeah, it's interesting as you go through this film how many New Mexico guys you can pick out.
Glover Quinn just jumped in after that touchdown, guys, on Facebook Live with this T-Breezy with a bunch of exclamation points, obviously a nickname for Travis Brown. That's awesome, Glover. Awesome.
And 2 touchdowns.
You know, we had 2 great receivers, but we also had 2 great corners. And so practices were a lot of fun watching those guys compete against each other. But they were all good players, and they made each other better in practice.
They did.
Glover Quinn, DeAndre Wright on the edges, and you had 3 safeties that were phenomenal too. Is that overall maybe the best secondary you had in 11 years at UNM, Coach Long?
I think you can argue that. You know, there's some guys that weren't on this team that'll argue another way. But no, I think that what we had was great depth at the safety positions. I mean, you'll see guys coming in and out, and they're all really good players, which helps as they compete against one another, compete against the opponent, and they stay fresh and they love to play. But we had an excellent secondary that year.
None other than Vincent Natale is in on Facebook Live. He was all Mountain West this great season. How you doing, Vince? Vince, of course, was part of the coaching staff here at UNM as well.
But we just showed him on the sidelines there.
did.
Yeah.
Portery and his wideouts making it look easy. Kaepernick, on the other hand,
Michael
has
Tui.
struggled. And here they set up a screen for Brandon.
Donovan Portery is with us now
All
on
right.
Facebook Live. Yep.
All right.
And he agrees with you, Coach Long. He said practice used to get physical. I'm sure he's referring to your commentary about your 2 great wideouts going against those incredible corners.
Donovan had a great game here now. I can't believe he just got on. He should have been on. If he just got on, he missed 2 touchdown passes. So, I mean, he had a great game. Obviously, we won a lot of games with him as our starting quarterback, and he had a great game in this bowl game.
He looks upbeat, confident, relaxed, very talkative with teammates. I think he'll bring it back.
The comments are coming so fast and furious now I can't keep up with them all. I couldn't tell you exactly when Donovan got on board, but it's great to have him.
And Frager in his second
There you go, another 3rd down opportunity.
running back for Luke Lippincott.
This is when you really know you've got them playing well and your guys are doing well. It's whenever you get these short yardage situations and all they have to do is get 1 or 2 yards and they're not even coming close.
Blake Lagan is on board now on Facebook Live.
Oh,
Jess.
Blake.
Yep. Blake wants to know about that pursuit drill. Tell us about the pursuit drill.
Oh, we still do it. We still do it. It's still a part of our everyday life there, Blake. And things haven't changed. I mean, we don't give in. I mean, our boys are going to figure that out, and that's part of the fun.
They probably remember it a lot worse than it really was, too.
Even double attack. Oh, come on, Clint. I can remember this up in the press box because I think that was the only third down they converted until late in the third quarter, giving him a hard time after the game. I mean, that's as good a coverage you can get. Just make a play. Come on, 11.
You know, he's wearing that neck brace. Maybe he couldn't get to the ball as well.
Could be.
Whenever you're a DB wearing a neck brace, everybody gives you a problem.
Tyler wants to know if you're going to bring back the alley drill.
We will. We did it a little bit in spring practice, for sure. You know, all that stuff.
And another Brett wants to know about 6 a.m. practices. You already had them out there before you could even get them in their uniforms, working out in the snow at 6 a.m. Didn't you, Coach G?
We did. We Tuesday, Thursdays in the off season, we started at 5:45. Brett Madsen, a great player from Utah for us on this team. We don't start practice at 5:45 during the school year like we did back in 2007 during the season. We actually started every practice at 5:45 in the morning, and then they would go to class at 8, and we'd bring them back later in the afternoon for 4:30. A disciplined team because we didn't have many guys sleep through their alarm. I mean, it was a very, very good team.
I'm happy to hear all these comments too. You never know what they think about that stuff. Obviously,
they didn't forget.
No, Coach
There's a comment from John Sullivan. Brutal.
Kicker complaining, that should not happen.
I know, Sully. We made you guys get out there at 5 o'clock to warm up. You know, there's a rule now. We can't put them out there at 5:30 anymore. I mean, we have to wait till. I think it's 5:45 is the earliest you can be out there, or 12, and you have to have 12 hours between activities. So
they don't have the misdirection play going. They haven't been able to get the quarterback to the edge.
He's always waiting to see his field goal. I know he is.
53 will be his career best.
His freshman quarterback on track.
Have they established anything?
No, nothing.
You mentioned your special teams unit 14th in net punting, Coach G. That's fantastic. And heck, with an All-American kicker, what an entire special teams unit you had this particular season.
They did a nice job. Cody Case, look at that, hurt himself celebrating. There's Brett.
Hurt himself celebrating.
Come on, Cody, you're gonna see Cody laughing about it in a minute. That's kind of typical Cody Case, though. I mean, he was what a really good football player, but he would do the funkiest things to get hurt. It was always himself too.
Did you see him limping off the field?
Yes. Look at what they'll have to treat him up a little bit. He'll have the
no, everybody on the sidelines laughing at him, right?
Yeah, and you'll see him laugh here in a second about what a knucklehead he is.
Blake Lagon says you guys used to start those early morning practices with a goal line drill?
We did. So we started what we called TTOs. Occasionally they'd be down on the goal line, but it was a physical 11 on 11 every day to start the day. And there were some cold mornings there in October, November. I mean, at 5:45 in the morning, it'd get pretty cold.
If we keep going at the rate we're going right now, guys, we're going to hit 500 viewers. We're
All
already
right.
over
Awesome.
300. Unbelievable reception here so far. Just fantastic.
We had over 100 players. I hope they're all watching too.
Yeah. They got the ball down the 40-yard line. We must make a big play here in a second.
Get anything established in this pistol offense. 66
Nick wants to know about the Lobo Leap. Will players be able to do that at home games?
It is coming back. If we can get that red minute section back there in the end zone to fill it up like they used to and bring their signs. I mean, we're looking for the Got Syrup sign. I know Coach Lenz has got the Hitman group getting ready to come back together and starting that tradition up again. And we only leaped when we won games, so I hope we're leaping a whole bunch.
And he's just not as comfortable. He's not, putting the ball in the right spot.
Third and
I
4.
think he's a guy. He just needs to run around and throw. I think he's just happier that way.
You got current players watching this. It's basically the same defense. This is Bandit Flex Tornado right here.
Here comes Zach Arnett.
Probably
leaving
auto
on the
coverage.
switch, too.
Oh, it still works.
George Carter, Albuquerque High School.
There you go, George Carter.
How about that? The first linebacker run the stunt was Zach Arnett, our current defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, number 49, and then George Carter rapping. It don't matter if you don't let him block you.
George was my first color commentator for Lobo football my first season, 2013. He was my broadcast partner, did a fantastic job. So, current player, right, Albuquerque High, George Carter. Josh Woisen has checked in on Facebook Live, and he said he absolutely loved watching this team. He remembers this team.
I did too. I think there's probably only 4 days, the 4 losses we had that we didn't.
That's the same defensive call. That's Zach Arnett chasing
Come on, Blake.
Kaepernick.
You got him out of bounds, Blake.
Yeah, just enough to get him out of bounds.
He did not. I think they're going to mark him out of bounds.
He was big. He was tall. Kaepernick was tall. And all 6'6", and he was tall.
You know, they didn't get it, but I like the play because it got your freshman quarterback outside. And we talked about his feet, Dave, and how good he is. He managed to slip a tackle and almost picked up the first down. And this
There you go,
guy's
Glover.
6'6".
Glover showing up right at the last second. You weren't gonna let him get it. Look, get off the block right there. 19.
He manages to get by Lagon and almost picks up that first down.
It's a great effort by Lagon.
Big stop.
And
Big fourth down
holding
stop.
on 4th down and 7, the Lobo defense turns it back over to their offense. They have stricken the Wolfpack defense.
Shoot, this is like a modern day offense, coach. Look at that. I mean,
Yeah,
four wide,
this is spread. I didn't realize we were spread in this
Running.
game.
wide receiver screens.
I'll tell you what, if we can find one, we need to point out that when we're running the ball well, you said it already, it's unbelievable. As good as those wide receivers are, sometimes wide receivers don't want to block. These guys, they're downfield, they're cracking, they're blocking on those runs. Hopefully we can point one of those out.
Yeah, I mean, I was the safeties coach on this team, and we'd have great battles every day during the individual with those guys. I mean, Blake and Marcus and Glover going against Travis. I mean, we did some stuff that was in that alley drill that Tyler was talking about, and that was some fun stuff in this group. But they were ultra competitive. I mean, one of the backbones of our success was a bunch of guys that love to compete.
Donovan Portery just said, "I miss all my bros. We had such a solid squad."
They'll flash some stuff up here in a minute towards the end of the game, and I'll wait till comment on it until then. But this team did some really special things in our program, and I'm really excited for the future holds of what we can do here at New Mexico because we've done it before.
Yeah, they have not missed Rodney Ferguson so far.
We are now up to 350 active viewers, guys,
All right.
and it is just growing. And a fan just made the
Oh,
point.
Donovan, come on, man, throw it to the guys in red.
Justin Jackson returns.
Yeah, you know, you never make a coach happy, right? I mean, he has one of the best games of his career, throws touchdown passes, throws for over 300. Now he's trying to explain.
See, Coach Baldwin's getting after him too.
I'm sure Coach Baldwin's being real nice to him right there.
It's going to happen on the left side of the screen. Portery rolls to his
The
left,
fans are
and
so
he never
excited.
sees 29
Several have
Jackson
mentioned
looking up
now,
as he comes back.
with
There's
so many former
Jackson right
Lobos
there.
checking
Look
in
at
as part of this broadcast today on Facebook Live, and our YouTube channel, that's an indication of the excitement that is being generated around the program right now, Coach G, and I know that makes you feel great.
No, I'm super excited, and I say it all the time. We need everybody. We need all our former players. We need the entire community of Albuquerque, the state of New Mexico, to do things we want to do. It's going to take everybody. So I'm super excited those guys are here. See, Donovan, they should have. You can blame our marketing department. They should have cut it off one play sooner, and we could have done this. They wouldn't have showed that.
Tyler Donaldson is with us online as well.
All right.
Yep.
Gigantic defensive end that we had. Now, he was tall, but he wasn't very big, but he played his butt off. He was a really good player. I think he made all conference this year.
Well, shoot, we had 8 of them. 8 first-team all-conference stuff. That's
I'm betting you didn't get any
Awesome.
holiday shopping done yesterday.
This would have been a
Oh, there, someone looks cold.
a little windy.
I guess
a
it
little
was
breezy.
cold.
Brett Madsen is as well.
much windier than today. And
He and Tyler interacting right now on Facebook Live.
Awesome.
Oh, I'd love to see that one.
couldn't ask for better conditions. Really.
Brett says, "Good times, man." He remembers the tackling drills. Tyler said you guys would stop the clock sometimes for the tackling drills.
If we had to. Yeah, we were going to get them done right. That's right.
And Brett says, "My head still hurts."
30 so far has probably done at least as
Boy, it's
expected.
fun to have those guys
It's because
chiming in and watching.
And because those two guys have been so
Mostly you remember the good times. That's the way it should be.
Open up a little bit for, quick bursts by Baker.
Rather than 6 yards per carry. Almost double.
6
what
yards
he
per
did
carry.
the
Them
regular
boys up
season,
front are
racking up
Yeah,
mauling them.
they're beating them up.
Shoot, nobody
Oh,
beats
there
that
he-
tackle. I mean, it's awesome.
There was a wide receiver cracking right. I don't know which one it was, but he cracked the safety. We got him about 5 extra yards because he cracked the safety, but the offensive line's dominating him here.
That, Ferguson
A fan named Terry,
Travis Brown.
Travis Brown.
and makes a nice move. He's a
Terry wants to know, he says, first of all, he wasn't able to be in town for this game, so watching it now, he's really excited. He's a former Lobo. We're running the 3-3-5 this season, Coach Long.
Well, we are, and a lot of the things we're still doing, you can see in this game. Now, obviously, we've made some adjustments to the scheme because of the offenses that are different now than they were back then. But you'll see in our players now that are watching, you'll see some of the same stuff we tried to teach them in the spring. But basically, it's the same defense.
There's Rodney. He wasn't able to play this game, you see, but what a great season he had. And Manzano, high school graduate, another New Mexico kid that 1,200 yards, 1,100 yards rushing in the season. Awesome. Paul did a great job, though, that day.
Rodney gave out some headaches, I know that. He gave out some headaches in practice, too.
I don't think anybody could have expected anything like that.
Oh, this is so bad. He's so wide open. What a terrible throw.
Yeah, exactly. Blame it on the throw. Donovan, if you're watching, man.
Donovan would have scored. He would have scored.
This is awesome. Josh Fussell from Florida. Pop of Florida.
Look at that throw.
Wide open.
Oh.
Find the ball, Donovan. Come on. See, I'm just sticking up for Josh. You might have scored, though, Donovan, had you caught it. He took a touchdown away from you.
Donovan looked a little like an outfielder getting lost chasing a fly ball with his back to home plate there.
He lost it in the sun. The bright day.
It was a great plan, though. Great play.
And they blitz Porter, and they finally get to him.
Finally got him.
Ezra Butler. Their bandit outside line.
They were good up front on defense. They were good. Our boys played great.
They were a good football team. Really a good football team.
The guys are loving your commentary. A bunch of laughing and smiling faces about the commentary on that last play from Glover and others. Brett Madsen says that Fuss might not have been able to make that throw, but that dude was a brick.
He was. He talked about them your head hurting after a collision. He brought it. Here we go, Sully.
I know Sully's watching now.
53-yard field goal.
He leads the nation 26-29. Longest is 46. This would better that by 7
Crushed
yards.
It. I know, Sully. You didn't hit it very good, but there we go. It's a bowl record still.
When we talked to him on the phone, he said he didn't hit that one very good. Yeah, all right.
Who went 5 years waiting for his chance. And he has taken this opportunity to become the best kicker in the country. And he nails
That's awesome. He sure was. AP Consensus All-American. 1 of 3 in our history of our program.
Hey, Fuss is online now, too, and he's laughing about that play with you guys.
about that terrible throw?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, Fuss says good times, man, good times.
Sully, you look awful young. Look at all that hair.
It's almost as red as his jersey.
It is.
And beyond, and he just got his career best by 7 yards, 53.
Brett Madsen says Sully was clutch.
And what he's done.
He was.
He was.
And what the first consensus All-American here since Brian Urlacher?
In 99.
Yeah. Wow.
All with a torn
We got some media
ACL.
folks checking in now too. JJ Buck from the opening drive on 610 The Sports Animal wants you to share the dollar bill story, Coach G.
You know,
they're going to talk about it.
They will.
They're going to
They'll-
talk about it on TV.
They'll let
yeah.
the broadcast, let them show on the broadcast, and then we'll discuss it because Sully still owes me $1. So we're NCAA compliant. He still owes me. So
He missed 2 field goals against UTEP.
Here it is.
Before the next game against New Mexico State, his kicking coach Danny Gonzalez told him, "John, you are money in the bank. Here is a lucky dollar." He tells us he puts that dollar in his shoe before each game, and there it is. And that day, he went 3 for 3. He hasn't looked back since the start of the streak of hitting 24 of 25 field goals to become a first-team All-American. You can really hardly tell it's a dollar anymore, but he's never taken it out of his shoe. Not bad for a guy with a torn ACL and a bulky brace on his left knee, Dave.
I
wonder if he still has it.
he said he did. He said he did. That's behind that story. So we talked about it earlier. Sully misses we lose to UTEP 10-6, and Sully goes 2 for 4 on the day. misses a 20-yarder and a 40-yarder that goes off the upright, and he felt like he had lost the game, like it was his fault. And we had a great conversation. In our program, the kickers, they erase everybody else's mistakes. I mean, we didn't score a touchdown, we didn't move the ball, we didn't get a first down, so it was up to him to get the field goal, and it's not his fault. And he was, he had a rough week of going up. We played New Mexico State the next week, and you can never lose that game. And in practice, he was kind of struggling, and I'll never forget the warm-up. Sully, I don't think he made a kick during the warm-up. He's hitting knuckleballs, they're going sideways, and him and Eric Garrison were competing to see who was going to kick, and I remember standing at midfield with Coach Long, and I love this about Coach. Always left it up to us, and he says, well, what are we doing? And I said, Coach, I'm sticking with Sully. And I'll never forget the look was like, you better be right. It was awesome. And so I'm in a panic. And that was when I run into the locker room just to talk to Sully right before the game. And that whole dollar thing came right there. I just pulled out of my pocket and said, hey, put this in your shoe, man. You're not going to miss. I got all the faith in the world in you. You're good. And shoot, so that AP consists All-American. I should have a piece of that. So that's mine.
Sully says, in fact, on the Facebook Live broadcast, confirms what you said, Coach G, that he does still have the dollar. And we've got Jordan Scott, the punter. He's on board now as well, and he said Sully was, in just a few short words, money in the bank.
Oh, he was. I tell you what, that was. And you know what? And Coach Long, I learned this from Coach a long time ago. The only reason you're a good coach is if you have good players. And these guys were great. They made us look good. And Sully, obviously, that was 100% all him. Sully, you can go back to our Colorado State game, the sequence to end that game. The game is tied. There's under 10 seconds to go, maybe 13 seconds. O.J. Swift is back to return a punt. And we talked it over on the sideline. Coach Todd, our special teams coordinator at the time, and we told him, we only have so much time. We had forced him to punt. They were backed up. And O.J. Swift catches the ball, and I think it's a 26-yard return, looks up at the scoreboard, and you can see him on our coach's copy look up. He dives to the ground with 3 seconds left, and Sully comes in and kicks the game-winning field goal. Just unbelievable, the knowledge on this team and the guys, they did things together, just amazing.
Cultural Center offers information about visiting the Pueblos and a calendar of feast days and other events.
People seem to have having a good time. We were.
We sure were.
Each weekend there at the Cultural Center.
Former Lobo football beat writer Rick Wright checks in, and he mentions recalling Todd Christensen, the former NFL tight end, on one of the Mountain broadcasts, singing a song from Annie because of Sully.
That's right.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
It's easy to lose your concentration and give up a play. They can't do that here. If they give up a play,
that's ball game.
Yeah, it's over. So last 4 minutes, they have to have a defensive stand, and their offense has to get something. And if not, they just can't give up anything bad. They got to concentrate.
I tell you what, we weren't empty very much.
No.
Look at that formation. Gee whiz, I've forgotten all this.
Chris Mark, tight end out of Las
Good
Vegas.
throw and catch.
There we go, run over somebody.
Run over a poor little DB.
He is a monster.
He was big, 6'6", and he was a good-looking tight end.
He fit right in with those big offensive linemen we had.
Here's a question from Ray. This one's for Coach Long. How does it feel to see Coach G rise in the ranks the way he has and now be part of his staff?
Well, I know that he deserves everything he gets because he's done a great job of coaching up to this point. And I saw him in the press box there. Well, I guess it's when Sully was kicking that field goal. They showed him the press box. He doesn't look quite as young as he did back then. I guess that coaching wears on you a little bit.
It sure does.
It's good to see Paul Pratt out there making some tackles.
Rodney Ferguson's online, guys.
There he is.
All right.
What's up, Rodney?
And then tore up his ACL.
Let me read a little blurb from Rodney here on Facebook Live. My Lobo brothers, you're all missed now just as much as you were missed. When I wasn't able to join you in this victory, it hurt to my core to let you down this game. I was super proud of all of you, but mostly Peanut Butter Baker for doing the thing out there. I'm still proud to be a Lobo, love the experience and all the camaraderie we had on and off the field.
Awesome. Thanks, Rodney.
Yeah, that's great
cool.
that Rodney typed in. And Paul Baker took up for him in this game. Played really, really well.
publicly after the season ended, as they prepared for this bowl game. He says, Porter—he's got to get better. He's got to have more of the offense down pat.
Pedro wants to know, Coach Long, how has your Albuquerque homecoming been so far? And he hopes that you and your loved ones are all safe and well.
Well, it's good to be home. I'm missing our players. Coaches aren't worth a darn if they don't have players, and we got our players spread all over the world that would like to be here getting ready for the season, just like all of us coaches. But it's a strange situation, and we'll live with it. They'll get back sooner or later, and we'll go back to work to make this program where it should be.
Smith was open. That was a potential 6. Instead, it's 4th and 7.
And Nevada holds on that play.
Travis Brown is on with us as well, guys. He said he can still pick up all of Coach Baldwin's signals from the sidelines.
There we go. That's awesome.
He's probably still using them at his high school. We're a copycat occupation.
Had that brace on his left leg.
Oh, Sully's back out.
See, Sully, I'm going to pull my watch out to see whose fault this is. See who we can.
Amazing story. Just hit a 53-yarder, his best of the year by 7. This time from 45.
Oh, you crushed it.
Obviously, that's
we go.
No problem.
We're over 400 active viewers currently, guys, and it's still rising.
Awesome.
28 out
Nice hit,
of
Sully.
31 now for the
One of our
year
current
for
Lobo
Sully.
basketball stars, rising senior McQuatch Malawatch, is tuned in and he's watching.
Good.
Tell you what, McQuatch, if you want to come out, I know I have to talk to Coach Weir about this, but you got some length, man. I know you can go catch the ball, and you're physical. You play the way it's supposed to be played. Loved watching you shoot the three-pointer this year and getting after it out there.
By Sullivan. And for more, Dave Ryan.
So how did John Sullivan tear up that left ACL, Dave? That's the question. This past April in spring ball, he was trying to catch speedy return man Marcus Smith on.
I didn't realize how much film time Sully got in this game. Gee whiz. He gets all kinds of film time.
He says his team doctors
There's
determined
Jordan Scott getting ready to kick off.
Reconstructive surgery. So the trainers here at UNM work to strengthen the muscles around the knee 2 hours a day, Dave. You said earlier in the weight room working on that. By fall camp, he was ready after that rough season.
They're talking about Sully rehabbing that torn ACL.
In the bank since.
I guess the lesson for kickers is don't worry about impressing your coaches with tackling.
No, you needed to, Sully. You had, like Coach said, you had to earn the respect of the boys.
Tackle, you're probably not going to make it, regardless of how hard
you
you
did.
work on it.
None of them out there playing with a torn ACL.
The amazing story of John Sullivan.
Tyson Ditmore.
Belted at the
Las
18
Cruces.
after a short return of 14 yards.
You can get the feel right now watching this game that we're taking it to them pretty good. You can really tell on special teams.
Paul Baker has checked in on Facebook Live, gents.
Awesome.
Excited to see the program back under 2 great coaches.
Well, I bet he's having fun watching this because he had a great game. It's good to have him on board.
Their whole scheme is based on funneling the ball to him. He's their leading tackler.
Yeah, and they use him in pressure. He is absolutely the key to that defense.
I'm going to text Ian and find out why he's not on.
So 2nd down and 10. And a fumble recovered by New Mexico.
George Carter again.
Carter has it at the 38.
Cody Case caused it, and George Carter recovered it.
Right now they want to get into halftime, Nevada does, because things aren't going their way.
The draw play, and Carter falls on it with 54 seconds in the half.
Yeah, well, whose fault was it? Was it the freshman quarterback, Kaepernick, or was it the running back? It looks like Fragger just didn't take it in. It looks like Kaepernick gives it to him perfectly, a little bit high.
There's good things happening. Our boys currently will learn this too. Look at how many red shirts are around the football. And that's awesome. There wasn't a blue shirt that had a chance, or a gray shirt that had a chance to recover that fumble.
Former SID Alfredo Moreno is on
Alfredo?
Facebook Live as well.
All right.
There we go, Paul Baker.
Takes the wheel for 21
Great setup of the screen right there, and you saw the big boys out in front of that. Paul did a nice job with the ball in his hand.
I think it was 42 receiving yards on the day for Baker here.
Awesome, over 200 all-purpose yards. I saw Jake Bow on the sideline right there, cheering him on.
See the big guys down all the way down 30,
Anthony
40 yards
Kilby,
down the
Manzano
field.
High
Yeah.
School.
Anthony killed 75 way
It
down
was
the
neat
field.
watching all these New Mexico guys.
Travis Brown asks, Coach Long, do you still outlift the linebackers?
No, I don't go in there and embarrass myself anymore. Well, but as soon as they get back, I'm going to start lifting with them because I know they better be lifting or they come in weak and then I'll embarrass them.
probably seen.
Nick wants to know where you get your red and green chili fixes, guys, both of you.
Of their offense. When you play them,
You know, there's a couple really good spots. I mean, Cocina Azul down on 12th and Mountain, they have some of the best New Mexican food around.
Unbelievable.
Sadie's over on 4th Street. I mean, Gilbert and those guys, they do a phenomenal job for us during recruiting. We've been very, very spoiled around here, and that's one of the things when you move away from New Mexico that you miss is the food. I mean, you can't, people try and replicate it, it ain't the same.
It's not the same. And when you're from here, you fly it in, mail it in. I mean, we used to get it shipped into our house all the time because you can't get the same kind of stuff out and around.
24 seconds and a half.
you know, this is a whole new mentality. This
Coach
is
G,
as aggressive
Anthony,
as I've
he
seen
checks in,
Rocky
says good
Long
luck to
in
you.
a bowl game. He hasn't won
Got a
bowl
great
game
coach,
before.
Lobos.
He won
He's
this
checking
one.
in from
But
Sun
he's
Devil
0-4.
Nation, Anthony
But his
Romero.
style
All right.
is
Awesome,
much
thank
more
you.
aggressive today than
We
ever
loved our
before
time in
bowl
Tempe.
game.
It was
They have
fun.
not won any bowl game since 1961.
Tyler Donaldson confirms that Coach Long did lift more than I did. He benched more than I did, Tyler says.
You think Rocky Long doesn't want to win his first bowl game? I mean, they're chucking the ball down the
Marcus
field,
Smith
going
was fast,
after it,
boy, I'll tell you
and
what,
here trying to
that
get
him
a
and
touchdown
Travis was
before the
running.
end of the half. Just
You
a
line them
corner
two up
route. He's
stacked
got
in
his
a-
guy open. He's got
Shoot, that's a
Smith
DB
open.
coach's
And
nightmare.
it just doesn't get it to him. Devon
Eric
Walker
Cook
was
is
in the
online
air.
with us, guys.
All right,
He
there
we
just
go.
threw out a line for Ian Clark. He said, that's the dirty 30.
That's right. Well,
Pick for quarter, just
get,
a sophomore.
there he is. Then we can get Ian back on this telecast. Where's he at?
The last couple weeks around here about not having won a bowl
There's
game. I
Ian.
think
He
he's
just
kinda
said,
tired
Coach
of
G, with an exclamation point.
There we go.
It would be hard to imagine a better first half than this one. Quartery throwing back against the grain, and it is caught. At
Wow, that's a heck of a
the
catch.
2 by
Good throw.
Roland Bruno. 22 yards with 7 seconds remaining in the half.
And the time management is good here, but watch the end of the play, and then we'll get to the time
There's Vincent
management.
Talley,
Half
Eric
ball,
Cook. Look
and
at that
does he
line.
catch
A
the
great
ball?
job.
Great
Does
offensive
he catch
line.
the ball?
Yep.
Yes.
That's a great catch.
But what I liked was after that, right away, they got the timeout call because they know it's a first down, and then the clock will run once they set the play. But they
tough
called
decision
the
here.
timeout because they knew they had the 7 seconds, and now they have a shot at getting a touchdown. Good time, good clock management here.
Yeah, and they still have one.
El
timeout
Pinto, I just
remaining.
saw that sign too. That down there on 4th Street, they have got some great food too. And I think Coach Lynn's walks over there all the time. He lives right by there.
Capital One.
You got to be careful if you start mentioning them. You got to mention all of
I
them.
know.
Rolling, throwing back in the end zone.
Come on, Chris.
Mark, who was
I thought we were going to get it there.
Time there. Looked like they were about to call a timeout for this. I think they did.
Give Sully another shot.
You
Kelvin
mentioned that ball.
Scarborough just checked in, boys, to say,
Wow.
I'm a huge Lobo football fan. Now, there's a Lobo basketball all-time great right there.
All-time great.
All-time.
I told
All-time
Kelvin
great.
when they had the UNM basketball during the game. I think I was. So I'm going to date you, Kelvin. I think I was 11 years old at the time. But another Colorado State game. We had 4 seconds left. We were down by 1. They throw it to Kelvin. He catches it at midcourt and drives the rest of the way to dunk it at the buzzer. One of my greatest basketball Lobo memories of all time. It was awesome.
including a 53-yarder. On
Number
the try,
11.
basically an extra point, 20-yarder with 3 seconds.
This might be the one I'm talking about, Sully.
This
Let's
is
get
it.
the clock on it.
Yeah.
It might be 1-3. If it's 1-3, that's on you. That's not on. Who was that in right there? That's Jeremiah Lovato right there at the end. Let's see.
In both those
He came clean.
I kind of think it's the protection.
Yeah.
And the Wolfpack coming up.
I don't know if it was the wings' fault or the ends' fault, but it was the protection.
Coach G, 3 missed regular season field goals, 3 missed field goals in the bowl game.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, you know, 2 of them were blocked,
Right.
so we can argue. But he does miss one here in a little while, a 43-yarder that he misses. So that dollar, the luck in that dollar must have wore out for the New Mexico Bowl, Sully.
It's the holder, I think, that's down.
Or it was cold.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
It was cold. There we go.
With that play over there.
Hey, that
It's
check-in
Brian Clampett.
from Sun Devil Nation,
Recovered,
Anthony, he
got
says
kicked
that
in
he's
the head at the
a
end.
UNM
Slow getting up now. he's
fan.
up.
His wife is a UNM alum,
But
and both of them went to
shocking-
West Mesa. So they're New
Okay,
Mexico.
Mustang. Okay.
Good.
Mr.
Yep.
Automatic Sullivan.
Scoreless in the first half.
First scoreless first half.
Frankie
That-
Solomon.
Tyler Donaldson says he will be at the USC game this season.
Awesome. Awesome.
Halftime report. Gentlemen.
Look forward to it.
Michael Scarlett has checked in,
I've seen Michael a couple of times since I've been back.
former Lobo DB. He helped out we used to do a pregame show, an expanded football pregame show, and he was a part of that, did a terrific job.
Some big-time highlights being shown. That's
Awesome.
kind of neat, yeah.
That crowd.
Back
That's
for
a
the
deal right
second
there.
half
That's a
now
new
of the New
crowd.
Mexico Bowl.
Looks like,
In Albuquerque, where the
Cookie
Lobos
is
have
flying out a bunch of his
dominated
teammates.
about 20-0.
Awesome.
Hard
For
to
that- for
imagine
that
a better
game.
first
Awesome.
half than the one UNM turned in, the only team all season to shut out the Wolfpack in the
George
first
Scott
half.
again, getting ready to kick the ball off.
They did it with
Chris Hernandez right there in the background from
324 total
Las
yards,
Cruces.
271 passing yards by Donovan Porter. He was really overshadowed in the talk before this game by Colin Kaepernick, who was thrown for only 99 yards.
There's no doubt who the better
Wolfpack
quarterback
held
was in this game.
148
Oh,
total.
not even close.
Not even close. Devin
if
Clark.
not for
There's
blocking,
Bart
it's
Miller.
20
Bart Miller.
Bart Miller,
He's one of the
another
guys.
coach.
He's one of the guys coaching in college football right now.
3-0. Jordan Scott's kick down to the 11-yard line.
Look at the red shirts just throwing their bodies around. That's awesome.
Out to the 25. Dave Barnett back with Rod Gilmore and Dave Ryan.
Porter, he went for over 350 in this game, guys, and that's how he reached the 3,000-yard plateau. He got to
Also,
3,006.
They were able to just smother any idea that Nevada had of getting something going
I just
offensively.
saw Frankie Baca throwing his body around right there. Another Albuquerque kid.
Particularly on first down. I mean, they take
Boy, him and
away
Ian
the
had
running
some fun
game.
in college.
2.5
The
yards
354
after
passing for
first
Porter in
down
this game was
for
the season
Nevada.
high,
They
too.
tried
So
running
this
that
was
Wow,
the most
that's
prolific
awesome.
passing game of the year. It came in the
Really
bowl
one
game,
big
game
play.
13.
And,
You can definitely see without Rodney, we changed our game plan a little bit.
Yeah, we're a lot more wide open, spread type offense in this game than I remembered because most of the year we weren't that way.
You kind of passed to run it in this game, didn't you? You passed first, and then you got Baker going later. You ended up going for $160.
Down. So what do? You go to the passing game.
Yeah, when you
has struggled as
get
well.
ahead by 3
Running game
touchdowns,
hasn't been good.
you probably should run the ball and try to run the clock a little bit. Not keep from scoring, but try to run the
Nice
clock a
feet,
little bit.
Glover.
Talked about at halftime, and a good shot on him as you get him out of the pocket. And it's
Look at the
just
red shirts flying around. That's
That's
awesome.
5 or 6 of them right
Awesome.
there.
Oh, Ian.
Aw, Ian.
goes back to first down. As we take a
Now
look
McPeak gets to play a lot more.
injured on the kickoff.
But
And
you
then-
guys told me Ian played with that shoulder the
He
whole year,
did.
right?
All year
In
long.
a tackling drill in fall camp, he separated his shoulder, and we had to harness him up. We we talk about all the time making it through the week. He didn't baby that thing through the week. He went full speed through practice and all this stuff. I mean, there's Vanaflex Tornado again. He never shied away from contact, even with as bad as that thing hurt. You can see him land, but it's similar to how he hurt it. He landed awkwardly on it right there with it extended and dislocated it again. And it took him a while. This will go back to Ian being so muscled up. When he separated the first time, it took him over an hour to get it back into socket just because he couldn't get his muscles to relax.
in that Lobo
And then I'm pretty sure this time they had a similar issue because
spot.
he wasn't going to miss unless he absolutely had no chance of coming back, and they didn't. They wouldn't let him come back to this one. I think Blake Lagone's going to get cracked here in a minute, and they were worried about broken ribs. Blake, you're still on here. Did you break your ribs during this game? It might be coming up right here. That right there.
Right there, yeah.
There's Glover stopping him for the first down. Let's see, 3rd and 1.
In the pistol on 3rd and less than 1. And
Awesome. Look at all them red shirts.
got there. I don't know if he even gained an inch. Hit by Tyler Donaldson first.
Tell you what Ian does is show the kind of players we had on this team. This was a really tough football team. They didn't back down from anybody, and they'd fight through some adversity. They'd fight through some injuries. They keep playing, and that's why we won so many close games this year that we did.
The Bertram family is all watching together.
Awesome.
Of course, 2 current Lobos, and they are all Lobo fans through and through, and they remember this team very well.
Awesome. Both Ben and Matthias did a great job during spring ball. I mean, Ben, he's got a motor like we talking about with these kids right here, flying to the ball and making something happen. He did a great job this spring ball. There's O.J. Swift again, return the punt. There goes Blake. Go check his ribs.
Yeah. I don't remember. Were they broke?
I don't remember.
Just bruised. I don't remember. Blake will tell us.
Jennifer says she's already put her deposit down on her season tickets.
Awesome.
She
Thank you,
cannot
Jennifer.
wait to pick out her season tickets for this year.
Awesome. You can do that right now. No money down. Just pick them out, and come June, you'll be able to pick out your tickets.
Lobos.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Glover wants to know if you guys took the guys up to run the sand hills. Got to bring that back if you haven't.
We will bring it back. We did not do it, so that was part of the plan, Glover, and the guys don't know yet, but that was part of the plan for the after spring ball. When the coaches were out on the road recruiting, we were going to hit the sand hills, but that is definitely, I've already gone over there and realized how bad a shape I'm in, so we're going to get them over there and do that.
Leroy Lucero from the Red Men.
There
he is,
He
Leroy.
says, 3 words. This is awesome.
Good. I talked about earlier, Leroy, we need to, I know you and Arch are doing some stuff in the background and going to get the Red Menace up and running again, but we need all those groups. We need all those facets to come back and be a part of Lobo football.
The Erickson family's watching, guys. They're pumped about Austin, of course, and he's excited too.
Awesome.
At the line of scrimmage, hit by Nick Furr, senior strong side linebacker, who had only 2 starts his first 3 years, but this year has blossomed into one of their most consistent defenders all season.
Ben Wysong is with us.
Ben?
He's a guy
Ben and Adam, former Lobos, and
3-4 defense.
there's
4-3 defense.
the Wysong name's really excited around the Lobo land right now.
Yeah, the comments are flashing by so fast I can't even keep up.
Tell him, Travis, put a little bit more air under that ball, Donovan. See, I can talk about you guys now. You can't get mad at me anymore.
Blake Lagan says bruised lung.
Bruised lung. That, you know what? I remember that now.
Blood.
Okay.
That's right.
Spitting blood.
I remember that now that you say that. There's Brad Gruner. I remember that. Now, I remember they would not let you. You tried to come back over the sideline. They had to take your helmet, I believe, because you wanted to get back in there, which was, like Coach said, that was the spirit of this team.
Byron Bell on board.
Hey, Byron.
Go
Bell.
Bows.
He was a young guy on this team. Turned out to be a great player.
Dave Williams, our deputy athletic director, wants Jennifer to know that he will accept an email from her directly
Awesome.
about her seats, and he will help her get her seats selected. Obviously, with COVID-19, things are a little unique right now, but so yeah, you can find his email online at golobos.com, and Jennifer, you can email him directly.
Great job by the old line right there
Yeah,
on 3rd and 10.
The last couple running plays that they've shown, the blocking's unbelievable up front. The guys up front are dominating the line of scrimmage by far.
Anthony Kilby's online, wants to say hi, coaches.
What's up, Anthony Kilby?
Yeah, we
You
just
know,
saw you downfield on a screenplay
sure
a little while
did.
ago.
You know, Anthony's one of those ones. He went to Garden City Junior College for a season before he came back to us and ended up playing his final 3 here. What a great Lobo and a Monzano High School graduate.
Freddie Young is online.
Freddie Young.
Yeah, and he said this was
Las
his official
Cruces?
visit.
Down
This
Las
game
Cruces,
was
this
his
was.
official
That's right.
visit.
Really?
That's right.
I didn't remember that. That's neat.
Snap it to him, and everyone across the country started going to Arkansas to see how they
Another
did.
Las Cruces
It's
kid.
the McFadden formation.
I think this is a reference to the hills. Eric Garrison says the first time he had to crawl up to his dorm, he was so sore.
So well copied around the country. Cordery rolling.
Joey Noble is pumped to be watching this.
Awesome.
Intended to be
Joey did a great job at linebacker in the spring. I mean, moving from a D-line and putting him out of position and just getting better every single day to watch Joey was awesome.
How much Wildcat, guys? We know it was part of this. You did it with Rodney Ferguson. We've seen Bake do it in this game. How much Wildcat and how effective was it?
You know, 2 or 3 plays a game, and Rodney was very effective with it. I mean,
Looks like there's a flag down on the side.
it was you do it so that you get an extra blocker. I mean, sometimes we take Donovan completely off the field, but you get the extra blocker, and then you have someone like Donovan. I mean, Rodney, who they can't tackle anyway, one-on-one. You're gonna run over them and hurt them. It was pretty successful. Devin, if you're on, you and Tui were roommates, but I'm with you, man.
This was
they
a
got you
terrible
here.
call. This was a
Look,
terrible call.
Clean up at the end of a play. And if you're not paying attention, they'll take
That
shots.
guy ought to be kicked out of the game.
Takes a shot.
He threw the punch.
They get the second guy, but they don't get Johnson for the punch back.
I'm sure we weren't saying that on game day, though, Devin.
Yeah, I'm sure if he comes to the sidelines, I'm sure we talk to you about it.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen the guy who throws the first
We got a
punch
message from John
get
here
left.
for you, Coach D. It says you would bring nephews from California to hang out with him during bowl week. Supposed to ask you about how they would whoop up on him and wrestling in the living room. Some of the best memories of his life during New Mexico Bowls.
You
Thank
know,
you for
I had
all
my
the
two,
coaches.
I had my 2 nephews that stayed in the hotel with us. Both John and Jake stayed with me And they were big Hitman fans the whole time. I mean, they were big boys. They were both over 6'3" and 300 pounds. And when you have to talk about whooping somebody up, obviously you didn't, John. So those were the good old days.
Well, he says thank you for letting him and his brother hang out with the team.
Okay, here we go, Sully.
I think that dollar bill in the
You get another one blocked. It's not this one, is it?
No, I think
44-yarder here.
it might be this one.
53 and
Yeah, this is
45
this one
in the
gets
first
blocked
half. At
again.
53-yarder, best of his career by 7
Sully's
yards.
parents are watching now too, by the way.
Awesome.
Leader in kicks
So we have to be nice to Sully.
Got it. They blocked it.
Blocked it again.
So look at, but Sully's not shying away. Look, he was ready to make a tackle.
Territory.
If he'd had to, he would have.
That's right.
Rings it back.
Frankie Solomon's in the house, guys. What's
All
to
right,
say,
What's up,
Frankie?
Frankie?
So Rocky Long
96. You made that number famous.
on placement.
We won't tell a story on 96, but you were unique. There's not any other DBs in the country who wore 96. I'll promise you that.
Missing some stuff here. What are we skipping through?
Some punts.
And there we go. Punt, punt, punt.
The ASU Sun Devil that checked in wants to know if you're going to get on the horn with Herm and get ASU back on the schedule.
I would love to play ASU. We would absolutely love to. We'll play anybody, anywhere. And I mean, absolutely, that'd be fun. Coach Herm was great. Coach Edwards was awesome to be with the last couple of years. I mean, he's a neat man. He's who you see on ESPN. I mean, he doesn't change. So yeah, I mean, we'd love to play the Sun Devils. That'd be fun.
Kaepernick.
Mrs. Case is watching on Facebook
Awesome.
Live.
She saw Cody earlier
Yeah.
on that tackle.
Hopefully she saw all that.
He's had a tough afternoon.
Wincing.
Yeah.
These guys are trying to get their boys on board, and they're tagging their former teammates and friends to get more and more guys in on it.
That's
And,
awesome.
yeah, it's fantastic.
Defense has never given him
Hopefully they got to see a lot of it. But
Rolling Bruno with the screen. I thought he was going to go the whole distance.
So Bake is trying to get Bruno to join. He just did a shout out to Bruno to see if he could get Bruno to
That's
jump
a heck
on
of a
Facebook.
screenplay right there. That was
yeah,
a nice
great
job.
screenplay.
page from the Marcus Smith, Travis Brown playbook. 58-yard catch and run.
Watch the timing.
Since
on
you got
this. This
Marcus
thing is almost
and Travis, and then now you get rolling. We have some. There's some weapons.
See Paul
right
out there
There's
blocking for
Anthony
him
Kilby
too. Paul
too.
Baker.
And Vince Natale chasing him.
Springs Bruno.
Bart Miller.
Baker, 22, right
You guys
there,
are
gets the
playing
ball,
their
gets to
tails
the
off.
right
That's
side of the
awesome.
screen. That's enough
There we go, Paul Bakers, like Coach said.
That allows Bruno to pick up another 20, 25 yards.
One of those
Jerome
possessions that we
Johnson
had to jump over were
almost had a crack at an interception.
not allowed to show the
How easy
entire
46
broadcast, so that's something that
So from the
fans should know.
28-yard line.
So we had to edit out some parts.
There,
But,
look at Travis right there. Travis Brown blocking there. You're going to see Marcus Smith blocking downfield here.
Right corner inside the
You guys work their tails
first and
off.
goal.
Didn't mean to cut you off, Robert.
Well over
Oh no,
100
that's
yards,
we love it, Coach. Yeah, just another.
that one, which
One of the fans wanted to shout out for Tui because he had a sack in one of those possessions that we had to.
There we go,
jump over.
Michael. You know, there another coach.
Yeah,
Michael
Tui's a
Tui.
high school coach in California too.
So he kind of hid back there and just
I see your Facebook videos all the time too. You can still bench over 500 pounds. Pretty impressive. Look at the wide receivers though. Look at them. Look at Marcus. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
dominating that.
I want to give big props to Jeff Symbieta, the executive director of the New Mexico Bowl. He was able to get us a DVD copy of this game to get even better resolution for our broadcast today, and obviously does a great job covering our Lobos on the opening drive as well.
Jeff got us some original cups too from the bowl game. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff. I mean, there's a lot of neat mementos, and I know he won't be on the radio but JJ Buck will have it all week, and I know JJ was on earlier, so we look forward to listening to you, JJ.
they give it to him another time or two here.
I want to give a shout out too to Keith Meeks. He's our Lobo fan in the Volunteer State, the Lobo in Memphis, Tennessee, who calls into all the coaches' shows, every single one, every year since I've been doing this and long before. He's on the Facebook Live broadcast too.
Okay, O-line, what the heck's
Yeah.
the problem here?
This is disappointing here that we don't score a touchdown.
We got 4 plays inside the 4, and they stoned you guys. Come on, what are we doing here?
The ball in a ball game. Yeah, he's carried 7 or 8 times, and he was told 14 was the most he'd carried. He said, see,
We got to
that's
shout
even
out
better
to
for us.
some more of those big boys up front, though, that we haven't mentioned. Maybe Devin Clark's phenomenal, right? Bart Miller. We've done a lot of talking about Cookie and Natali, and we mentioned Kilby, but what a great unit.
No, they were awesome.
Awesome.
They were awesome.
And he is stopped
We're
short.
keeping you out right here, though, boys.
Loses a couple of feet.
He's slamming in there with every
All right, though,
bit
you
of
made
his
you put him into submission for the whole day.
190 pounds listed anyway. I'm not sure he's that
Yeah, Tui's on with us now. Mike Tui says, "What's up with that? You cut out my sack?"
Kevin Baspet hits him just inside the 1. So 4th and goal from the 1. And they're going to, I think, give the offense one more crack at the touchdown.
Yeah, send him wide. Send him off tackle.
Although 23-0, you got better than 3 touchdowns.
Come on, Marcus.
Smith in motion. They hand it to him. He cuts it back and is also stopped short.
Yeah, good defense by them.
Terrific goal line stand.
Some people would have considered that a bad decision by the coach, because
We were trying to end them.
yeah, we were trying to put the game in the bag then. But they also have a long way to go to try to score. That helps the defense every time.
Game over. Those guys dug in and then had a goal line stand.
So they have blocked 2 field goals, and now they give the Lobos 4 cracks inside the 4, and they stop them all 4 times. Still 20-0.
It's awesome having all those players watch this. That's cool.
Yeah, that's really.
I looked this up. So that was from Carlsbad Caverns. They did a whole deal on the bats that left Carlsbad. That's why
They weren't flying over the stadium?
No, they were flying over the
good.
stadium. That was down in Carlsbad.
Late 3rd quarter. And Kaepernick rolls to throw
Major
into the
Mosley.
end zone.
Trying to throw it out of the end zone.
Dave Barnett.
There's
with
Zach
Gilmore,
Arnett.
Dave
Yeah.
Ryan, and
You can
today's
see him in the
storyline
picture a lot.
presented
He
by
runs to
Kay
the ball
Julian,
every
who's
time.
been
Boy played
all
hard. He sure
New
did. He
Mexico,
sure
they
did.
have bottled
I want to
up
thank Joe
nation's number
Tenty
5 passer,
from Lobo
Richard
Marketing.
Freshman Colin Kaepernick
His
has
brainchild,
been
his
nothing like his
execution,
regular
his
season
edit.
self.
He did an
Nation's best
unbelievable
kicker, John
job
Sullivan, had
putting
a
this
career
together
best
and pulling this
53-yard,
off
45
with a
yard
lot of
race,
help from a
still
ton of
blocked.
people in marketing and
Only
throughout
3 all year
the
before
athletic
that.
department.
Paul
But
Baker
he's
for the
responding to
ineligible
Tui and
Rocky
says,
Ferguson has been
"I'm
an
so
amazing
sorry.
I was
I
gonna
wanted
say.
to throw that in there, and he just had to find some places to cut, and that was one of them."
I was going to throw you under the bus, Joe, and give to your information, but at least you came forward, so that's good.
And goal from the 1. And again, Kaepernick throwing.
Rudy, another huge Lobo football fan and Lobo athletics fan, of course, he said that he could remember Coach Ald after the game being just in disbelief that his offense was completely dismantled by one of the best defenses, not just in the Mountain West, but in the entire nation, the Lobos this year.
There's no doubt. These boys play hard. Statistically, they were good, but even more statistically, they played hard. There's your sack, Tui.
Hey, Tui got his sack on. I think about now they told us that we had a chance to shut him out for the first time in I don't know how many
27
games.
years it was,
Yeah.
329 games.
I loved what you said, though, Coach G, about when that word got down to the
It's like
sideline.
talking about a no-hitter, man. What are we doing? Don't be mentioning that stuff till the game's over.
Secondary with a gain of 13 if it stands.
So, Coach Long, you asked earlier, and we'll see it in the broadcast coming up here, and it might confuse some fans a little bit because on the telecast, on the ESPN telecast, as the Capital One player of the game, they select Paul Baker
Yes.
for over
Oh, so I-
200
yeah, I didn't remember for
combined
sure.
yards. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but the offensive MVP of the New Mexico Bowl, as selected by the bowl game itself, was quarterback Donovan Porter.
Okay,
And you
good.
could go either way.
You
Yeah,
sure could
good.
have.
They both deserved it. They
sure
both
did.
deserved the award. It's good that they both got one.
Can you remember who the defensive MVP was?
Better next time, Junior.
I don't right now. No.
He's on board. Well, we have so many of them on board now, but he's been watching with us on Facebook Live. He didn't start the game, but he ended up with 4
Brett
tackles.
Mattson. It was
Yes,
Brett
Brett Mattson, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
2.5 TFLs. 2 of those were sacks. 4 total tackles. New Mexico Bowl 2 defensive MVP. Lobo linebacker Brett
And they're
Mattson.
back
Right.
at their 12-yard line under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
So Tui sack, by the way, guys. Mike sacked.
Crystal has
It brought his total to 20.5. That set the Mountain West career record at the time. And he's 5th all-time in Lobo history in
back
sacks.
at the 6.
I tell you what, he didn't always do them the way we wanted him to, but it didn't matter because it was all about making plays, and he'd get there.
Against Boise State.
Yep, and
I need to go watch him run a practice sometime to see if
Yes.
he coaches like he played.
I bet you he doesn't. I bet you he gets out. I mean, I bet you gets out there. Are you mean coaches like he practiced or coaches like he played? Because there were some times we had to get after Tui in practice. It was fun. That was fun stuff. But I tell you what, Valley View, they play good football, so he's doing a good job.
they've averaged 36 points per game. And they had a non-conference schedule that included opening at Nebraska and at Northwestern. Kaepernick.
Can't find anybody to throw it to.
This has been the story for him all day.
There's a Brett Madsen with the sack.
Yeah,
Go,
sure
1-2.
And chased down by Brett Madsen.
Nevada finished with 210
Awesome.
total
And
yards.
they were averaging 488. That's awesome.
488.9, averaging 36.2 points. That nearly 490 yards of offense was ranked 5th nationally.
Not this day.
And on the flip side, the Lobos, 548 yards of total offense was their highest output of the year.
No,
Awesome.
he's been, one of the better
It's
running
obviously a
quarterbacks in the
total team
conference.
effort and a team that really got ready to play. And you know, Nevada was a good football team too, so it wasn't like they're doing this to someone that can't play.
You guys blanked Sac State earlier in the year. 2 shutouts in a season hadn't happened since 1983.
Ran for 177 yards against Boise
Look at him, he's
State.
running for his life.
To throw this one away.
DeAndre Wright, good coverage.
That series,
Nevada didn't get deeper than the 30-yard
with
line of the
exception
Lobos in this
the
game.
11-yard pass to McCoy, the New Mexico defense took away absolutely everything.
It looks like they're getting a little frustrated too, especially the quarterback's getting a little frustrated.
Second annual New Mexico Bowl, all New Mexico, 20-0 as we head to the fourth.
You guys finished 9-4, the 4th ever at the time Lobo team to win 9 games in, at the time, 109 seasons.
And that's kind of impressive too, you know. But Coach D already said this: you don't have good football teams without good players. And obviously, we're blessed with a lot of really good football players. If 8 of them made the all-conference, that just shows you that everybody else thought they were good football players too. But I think the best thing about this team is how well they played together, especially in this game. Offense, defense, special teams, everybody's playing well.
Down to the 32-yard line.
Let's see. Somebody else get after Joe Tinty. Let's see what we missed on here. Okay, Sully, you can be. He didn't put your missed field goal on here. This is all positive stuff. See.
Ryan wants to know, what's the biggest challenge you've faced in adapting and evolving the 3-3-5 defense to handle the modern offenses?
Well, obviously, it's who you put on the field. I think the defense started with our middle safety we call the Lobo. It started as a linebacker with Brian Urlacher. He played more as lined up deeper, but he played more like a middle linebacker. That guy has now changed to a defensive back because we're seeing so many 3 and 4 and 5 wide receivers out there now that guy has to be more of a cover guy than an inside-out runner to the ball. So that's the biggest difference I see between the defense now and the defense when we first started it.
Sully, by the way, checked in about the missed field goal. He said that was a bad miss.
The 1961 Aviation Bowl for New Mexico appears almost a certainty as we go under 9 minutes.
You know, I found it interesting because we talked with John Sullivan earlier this week as well, and he helped promote this Facebook Live broadcast. And he mentioned how excited the team was post-game to get you, Coach Long, a bowl victory. And I remember your reaction to some of the commentary on this broadcast when we watched it earlier this week about the focus on that and how much was it discussed within the locker room? Was it much of a discussion at all to sort of get that monkey off the back?
I think we talked about it a lot leading up to the bowl game because we'd been in several bowl games before this one. One we played really poorly. In Vegas, we played poorly against Oregon State. But the other bowl games we were in, leading up to this one, we were right in the game. And we had a chance to win those, but for some reason we came up short. Now this might have been the most talented team we had too, but this team was, as you already see, this team was on a mission in this game. They were on a mission the whole season. They were on a mission to prove to everybody that we could play ball with no matter who you put out there. And obviously they were really ready to play this game, and I think they have pride in that, of breaking that streak, and obviously I have pride that they broke the streak.
Go back to a theme from the start of the broadcast today, guys. New Mexico Bowl director Jeff Symbieta says this is when it got really cold, when the sun went down, and Glover Quinn just jumped in and said, "Freezing!" with about 6 exclamation points.
That jacket right there that Coach Long's wearing, that's courtesy of Scott Cregan at Graphic Connection. That might be one of my favorite jackets, the Gore-Tex jacket. That thing's awesome. I mean, I still have it.
So 7 consecutive seasons of bowl eligibility, and this was the 5th bowl in 6 years. This was an incredible run for your teams, right?
Awesome.
This was unbelievable, Coach Long.
Well, I mean, obviously we had a good program at the time. We had good coaches. Coach Deep being part of the coaching staff, we had good coaches. We did a really good job recruiting because we had really good players. And then if you get the right guys in your program, and I don't mean just athletes, if you get the right kind of people in your program, they take pride in making the program good and giving it consistency.
You were the only Mountain West team to be eligible from 2001 through 2007, bowl eligible. That means you were the only Mountain West team with 6 or more wins each of those 7 years in the entire conference. So not just a great Lobo team, but a great team, period, in terms of the Mountain West and what you were doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think it starts at home. And, you know, we already mentioned how many New Mexico young men we had on this team. And I think that they had such pride in the program and pride in the way they did things. We were lucky to recruit some really good players from other states, obviously, but they bought into how important it was to be in this program and playing well and doing things the right way.
They found a shot of you throwing a football. But you were 3-time MVP as a quarterback and 3-time All-Western Athletic Conference, as well as the WAC Offensive Player of the Year. Share a memory or two from your playing days.
Well, first of all, that picture is misleading because it showed me throwing a ball. And we were in the wishbone at the time, so I really wasn't a quarterback. I was a running back taking the snap from center. But obviously, I played with some really good guys. I had some really good coaches, and I played with some really good guys on the teams that we were on because we had success too. And several of them still live here in town. And I know they're excited about this program that Coach G's getting going again. They're excited about being around. I'm surprised that we haven't seen a picture of one of them and his buddies that played with me barbecuing and drinking beer out there, because I assumed they were one of the groups that was going to do that.
You know, Robert, a stat that wasn't on there, Coach Long is up until 2004, he was the winningest quarterback in UNM football history. He's the second winningest quarterback, only second because he was able to lead our program, and Casey Kelly became the winningest quarterback. So they won a bunch of football games around here, not only as coach, but as a player.
How much pride is there for you, Coach G, to follow that same path, to you know, Lobo alum, now Lobo head coach? Just incredible.
Well, I mean, the reason I'm here is because of Coach Long. I mean, he gave me the opportunity when I was a GA. I say it all the time, and he tells me not to, but he protected me in this deal coming all the way up. And the opportunity to spend 20 years with him, to learn and everything that I took from him to get where I'm at, I mean, it's unbelievable. And then to have him here with me on this journey is amazing. Jordan, that's a terrible acting job, and you're going to limp here in a minute. I know you're still watching. That's not something that we coached you to do. Now, the penalty I'm good with, but watch here. You knucklehead, you come over here. You're not hurt. We saw it.
Yeah, what a fake. I remember that too. Oh, my goodness.
But no, just getting back to that, I'm super excited to be here, and I know because of the formula that we did before, I know we're going to win a conference championship around here. I mean, that's the goal. They asked earlier, #Win5. That's what it's all about. That's why we're here.
Left with a possible separation of his shoulder.
Josh Bazinet is in.
All right. I wish he'd been in earlier.
A fan asked, will you set up a way maybe where fans can donate to the program and get an authentic Lobo football helmet?
You know what? We had absolutely. So, and Coach Linsmeyer did this a couple years back. We started a drive so that guys could get helmets. But yeah, you know what? If you want to send an email to me, my email's online. It's drgons@UNM. We can get that done. Absolutely.
By the way, Jordan says he limped on purpose.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. You could tell he was faking.
And then the doctors had to come over and tell. Yeah, knucklehead.
He said also, and this is obviously
they got the penalty,
with a smile on his face, he said, and I was yelling, my career's over. It was actually going to be the last punt of his career.
Great story. The biggest question mark of the game, and has turned into a major exclamation point. Pass almost intercepted by a
It's funny, we were watching this the other day, and I thought, man, it's 5 minutes to go. Why are we throwing the ball?
Yeah,
we wanted to bury him.
Well, you talk about Baker, and not
I'm
only was
guessing,
he a
I don't
backup,
remember.
You're talking about a guy that they never expected or never saw as a star. And he spent 2 years on the scout team, on the practice
They
team,
were trying to
running
get
the other team's plays,
Donovan
not
over
their own plays.
Over the
3,000
3,000 yards. That might be right.
I mean,
That's
because
probably
at
right.
this point we knew we were going to win the game, and
Yep.
we're getting all kinds of information from the press box
That's right.
about shutting them out, about gaining 500 and something yards. Maybe it was really make sure Donovan got over the 3,000 yards passing.
Rogers says that Josh and his wife just had a baby girl.
Oh, congratulations, Baz.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Rudy wants to know, grass or turf? He loves seeing this game on natural grass.
You know that those things are. Now we're getting ready to redo the turf. I love the natural grass here, but there's some things out of our control within that stuff, and it has actually saved us some money to go to artificial turf, and we can do some different things. So we'll probably stay that direction. You get more. The positive is you get more use out of it. We can go out there without tearing it up, and we were able to do that on Saturdays in spring and do a lot of our off-season stuff and get a lot more work out of it. And then other sports can use it.
Yes, makes sense. Multiple fans are asking about recruiting and the challenges that you guys are facing with that in the situation that we're in right now.
You know, I think our assistant coaches and our graphics department, recruiting department have done a phenomenal job. And then there's going to be a lot more opportunities. The NCAA just passed some stuff where kids, they've gotten rid of the ACT, SAT for this year, so you're going to have a lot more kids eligible, and the coaches need to do a good job of fine-tuning that and making sure we get the right guys. But our reception out there, and the coaches have done a great job with social media and the world they live in, so it's been good. I mean, everything's been a challenge. It's been new, but I say it all the time, it's a level playing field for everybody because we're all doing this for the first time. Okay, Sully. There's that magic handshake. You and Brian Clampett. Clampett was a good holder, boy. He should have been AP consensus All-American.
3 all year before his last 3 tries here. And this time he is back on the mark. The All-America who kicks with a torn left
Frank Mercogliano,
ACL.
obviously, as associate AD for communications, has been, helping us every step of the way for this broadcast. He wants to know if number 1 is going to be worn.
When we were here before we did that, it was that was a special. You had to earn that deal. We have some stuff coming out with numbers here. We'll have it out in the next, probably here in the next month. But I think all numbers are. I mean, you need them for your football team. But we did when we were here before. It was a special walk-on. Whoever is the walk-on that worked the hardest that earned that is the one that wore number 1. So we will we'll definitely relook at that.
Sully, by the way, says Clampett was the best.
There's no doubt. He had some soft hands that put that ball right where you wanted it every time.
Number 5 rated passer in the country. Shutout for the first time in 27 years.
Glover Quinn says, this was dope, fellas. Can't wait for the season to start.
No, you know what? We appreciate all you guys coming on. This made this a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of memories that even when we watched this last week to make sure we were prepared for this. There's even more great things today that we missed last week. This has been awesome.
It's been a lot of fun for us to watch it too. I'll promise you that. And I'm sure it's fun for them to be watching. A lot of fun for us to be watching. I think our players were told right now that they hadn't been shut out in 27 years or something like that. I think our defense knows this.
You can tell all the starters are still out there with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I think Glover and DeAndre and Herbert, Cody,
Yeah, that's going to hurt UCLA offensively.
Tui,
They'll struggle.
O.J. Swift in the deep middle.
There's no question. UCLA can play great defense.
Otto. Here comes Clint off the edge.
Follows the conclusion of our game here in Albuquerque with Kaepernick.
Nice play, DeAndre.
Over the middle.
So here are the numbers. Nevada had not been shut out in 329 games. It was a 10-0 loss to Weber State in 1980. It was the longest current streak in college football and the second longest in history. And it was the first time Nevada had been held scoreless since they had moved to Division 1A in 1992.
A long history of being good on offense.
The coaches say in 3 years.
This goes to show how, like Coach said earlier, how well our boys were, how they got themselves ready to play. And then the crowd, what an amazing crowd. I mean, listen, you can still hear them.
9 passes thrown his way before tonight. Not that many his way in this one. 2nd and 10.
We're not slowing down either. We're still blitzing them.
Heaves and almost connects.
Uh-oh, Glover. You got turned around right there.
Oh,
Doesn't matter. They overthrew it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, he threw to a spot. Kaepernick was
Joe Tenti has some thank yous, guys. First off, thank you to both of you for spending a couple of hours with us to do this today. This
was
has
fun.
just been
Fun,
unbelievable.
really fun.
Also in his department, Stanley Frazier, an incredible job in Lobo marketing, helping put this together. ProView Networks, incredible. Thank you to what they have done. Jason Pohl is our director today. He's been the backbone of our coaches shows and all of our online broadcasts this entire year. Josh Brown is helping out today as well in the studio, and he was spectacular getting us set up. So it's been a massive team effort.
Oh,
Intended for McCoy and Wright was the
it's been a great way to finish it with an
There sure would've.
interception.
Come on, Glover. Text DeAndre and tell him we got to make that catch.
Kaepernick keeps pulling himself off the ground.
He sure does. He's on the ground every time. Brett Madsen again. Tyler, Tui. Look at that 4th down. They gave up. They threw in the white towel.
So we gave away a Bud Light tailgate speaker tower today
Awesome.
as part of this broadcast. Gary is the winner. Congratulations, Gary. Way to go, man. Gary Gillen. That's awesome.
Frankie Solomon.
The 9-yard line. Frankie Solomon with a short return
96.
on a 51-yarder. Whitehead's best of the day.
Coach Long, can you remember what you and Chris Alt said to each other after the game?
Well, Rodney, you lose.
I don't. You know, most of the time, I mean, he's a great coach. Most of the time, it's friendly, and it's good luck next year and that kind of stuff. So obviously, if it was something other than that, I would have remembered it. So it must have been just a normal conversation.
And when they needed runs, they needed to pick up things in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th quarter. This guy did it. And he got some help from his receivers who opened things up for him, but he took advantage of it and responded with a great afternoon.
This is a great day for Lobo football, and one of the coolest things. And Justin Vieta and the New Mexico Bowl, that trophy's awesome. I mean, every year, it's awesome.
It's the best trophy in college football for any bowl game.
The winner of our Bud Light Seltzer Cooler is Caitlin. Congratulations to Caitlin. So the winners of these coolers, the Bud Light Tailgate Speaker Tower and the Bud Light Seltzer Cooler, they are actually tailgating at home watching this broadcast.
A young Linsmeyer. There's Coach Linsmeyer.
There's Linsmeyer without a jacket on. See, it wasn't cold.
Talking to Portery.
And how about that New Mexico defense? You could just
Brian Clampett now in.
Brian Clampett will finish this one off.
He's going to have the run that seals this thing up, right?
Sure
It's
does.
the final nail in the coffin.
That's right.
Back up. And Josh Fussell gets near the 1st down. He's looking at Portery's numbers, and he's got 2 more intriguing years here ahead of him at New Mexico.
And those 2 touchdown
Heck of a
passes
day.
came early, one on the 3rd play of the game.
Another fan wants to see BYU back on the schedule. Make it happen.
I'm with you. BYU, Utah, we'd love to play all of them.
Offensive coordinator Dave Baldwin told him he had
Those
to
are
come
some
up
great
with a big
games, some
game.
great
He had to
rivalry
play
games.
better than he had in the last couple.
Okay, I just saw Jackie on our sideline. Jackie, we need to do something. We need some better hats. I'm not a fan of the hat we're wearing in this bowl game.
Yeah, I wasn't real happy with the hat either.
First of all, a 1st down carry.
They got you. See, Glover must not have been that cold.
I'm gonna tell you what a great jacket.
It's too
I
cold
mean,
for that.
it just rolled right off the
It
jacket.
did. It sure did. Watch, they'll show it again. It's awesome.
But
I
watch,
think that jacket
Didn't
looks
get you
pretty
wet at
good.
all.
I don't think he's too badly off here.
yeah, it did kind of roll off of it. Watch, it just rolls right off of him. It's a good dunking. They got him set up nicely. Look at that. It just
Never
rolled.
felt it.
Yeah.
I love Gilmore
that is
doing
the
the play-by-play on the
driest dunking I've
dunking. That's terrific.
Well, this streak will finally end. Since that victory
We're in the
over
process of
Western
putting all of our
Michigan
bowl games
in
up on the
Dayton,
outside of the
in the one and
building,
only
yeah.
Aviation Bowl in
conference championships, the 4 of them, the bowl
1961.
games. Be pretty cool.
Bowl victory for the Lobos.
46-year drought.
Carries again.
There's the trophy.
Down to 122 remaining.
cool.
And
Yeah,
that
it's
trophy
so
will
unique
stay
and
here
beautiful.
in
It's
Albuquerque
amazing.
for the Lobos. think these players aren't
Brett
happy
Mattson
for-
says, Coach G and Coach Long, you were great coaches. Thank you for everything. So proud to be a Lobo. Go Bows.
We're all proud to be Lobos, but like Coach Long taught me a long time ago, players make you a good coach.
Paul Baker says, that jacket was clutch, Coach.
I'm glad all those guys got in and watched. That's really neat.
Brian Clampett says, the good old days with an exclamation point.
Here comes a big run, Clamp.
Oh, yeah, here you go.
And that is a gigantic check mark in the New Mexico column. Offense, 537 total yards. Defense has held Nevada to less than
We
half
got
their
11 more
average.
yards coming.
Only 210 yards. And they're going to be barring a surprising last 122 shutout for the first time since 1980, a streak of 329 games. Second longest in the history of college football and the longest active streak without a shutout. Clampett with the
Game over.
shotgun. Quarterback keeper with another first down and with a minute 15 remaining.
Now hold it. Now Clamp, you got to take one more snap, and you almost ruined our shutout here. I'd forgotten about this. Watch.
Shutout victory. Dave Ryan.
Well, we spoke with Rocky Long this week, the head coach in New Mexico, and asked him how much it would mean to win a bowl game at New Mexico. His alma mater, we saw earlier with the
Jacqueline May said we could never get Coach Long to wear another jacket for games.
That was smart. The jacket's perfect.
Brand new question to ask Rocky Long, because over and over they've asked about the bowl streak, and finally it's over. He said, look, no one asked me about the bowl streak outside Albuquerque. Now, local media needs something new to talk about with Rocky.
Yeah, now, well, can you get a bowl
One
winning
more
streak?
snap.
What about that? Yeah, Matt Quillen on the carry.
The question he's
329
going to
game
get
shutout streak.
next year
Scoring
will
streak.
be
That's
winning
awesome.
the conference, because he had 8 guys make the first
Coach
team all
Bevis.
conference this year.
Donovan Portery, I'm excited for what's to come with the program with Coach G and Coach Long. Can't wait. 4 exclamation points.
Donovan looks pretty happy right
He
there,
sure
jumping
does.
up and down.
Boise State, Fresno State, this very solid Nevada team, which really didn't show at all what they were about this year.
Well, we're excited
New
to be
Mexico,
back,
which
and
finished tied
I'm
for
really
third in the
honored
Mountain
to
West,
have the opportunity to lead
dominates
this program.
this outstanding Nevada offense.
This is what I'm talking about, Clamp, but you scared me right here.
Fumbled the ball.
So they fumbled
If they'd have picked that up and
snap.
scored, you would have.
Falls on it.
I might have tackled you myself.
And the second New Mexico Bowl
That's
is
awesome,
over,
though. Look
and
at
it
that.
goes to
1980.
New Mexico shutting out the Wolfpack for the first time.
Dude,
since
the players on this team
1980.
weren't even born.
The 329 game streak is over. The 46-year bowl winless
Must have
streak
been
is
normal. It
over
was pretty quick.
for the
Yeah.
Lobos.
But there it is, the Lobo Leap. It's coming back. Let's
Their
win some games so we can get them back up in the
celebration
stands.
underway here in Albuquerque.
This has been awesome. This
We
has
Yeah,
been great,
it's been
Robert. Thank you.
lot of fun. Thanks.
I have enjoyed it. Thank you both so much. And thank you again to ProView Networks for helping us put this together. This has been an incredible amount of fun. And we hope there's not enough time to do another one of these and everything's back, closer to normal. But if we get a chance to do it again, I can't wait.
Yeah, it'd be great. Well, hopefully just everybody out there stay safe. Keep doing what they're asking us to do. We're all in this together. Wash your hands, social distancing, stay at home, stay safe. And when this is all back together, we'll fill up that stadium.
For Rocky Long and Danny Gonzalez, I'm Robert Portnoy. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook Live and our YouTube channel. So long, everybody, and go Lobos.
Go Lobos.
Go Lobos.